While there is some genuinely bad writing advice out there, not all bad writing advice is bad. It may sound like I've lost my marbles, assuming I had any to lose in the first place, and I'm about to offer some bad writing advice. Maybe I have. Maybe I am. No, it's good bad writing advice. Hear me out.
No fluff writing advice. Cut the fluff!
Most common bad writing advice isn't actually bad, it just gets misinterpreted. Or writers take it too literally and don't allow for flexibility. When writing, you need to be flexible and even rebel against the rules sometimes, or often. Be a flexible word rebel like a punk rock yogi. Basically, some writing advice can be bad when misinterpreted, but good when you approach it with the mindset of a flexible rebel. Bad writing tip number 1, write what you know. If you interpret this to mean write only what you know, only what you're an expert in, it's pretty restrictive, yeah? Really, it's the boa constrictor of advice. Yes, draw on your knowledge, expertise, and lived experiences to enhance a story, but don't let the rule restrict your storytelling. If all writers only wrote what they knew, most would just be writing about being writers, and I'll tell you now, it ain't worth writing about. When writing fiction, write what you know is technically whatever pops into your head. And if you're writing realistic fiction, what you know can change in an instant through research. These days, there's not much you can't know if you focus on knowing it. So, research when necessary and write whatever the hell you want. Isn't that liberating? Bad writing tip number 2, write drunk, edit sober. Often misattributed to Ernest Hemingway, this is usually just bad advice. While alcohol can get the brain juices flowing in new and exciting directions, it's not a great tool for focus, which is an important part of writing. Do you want to stagger across the page, or would you prefer to glide across it with swan-like grace? Okay, the reality's somewhere in between. Personally, I write with something closer to the grace of a walrus, on land. But it'd be worse if I was a drunken walrus. Don't write like a drunken walrus. If you must turn to the bottle, keep it for brainstorming, idea generation, and problem solving. Don't write drunk, and never edit, please never edit drunk. Edit drunk, and the next day your manuscript will resemble a trashed hotel room in the worst way imaginable. I'm talking garbage strewn across the floor, dropped food stomped into the carpet, feces smeared up the walls. What have you done? The thing is, at the time, you thought you were cleaning the place up. You thought it looked great. But now you've got to spend more time scrubbing your own feces off the walls of your story. Don't shit on your story's walls. Now there's some good advice. Bad writing tip number 3, start your story with action. I mean, you can. Sometimes action is the best way to start a story, but it's not always right. As long as you begin with something to hook readers with and keep them on the hook, you're off to a great start. Sometimes you'll want to hook readers with mystery and intrigue. Other times you will want to drop them into a fight with 40 ninjas. Or why not both? A mysterious, intriguing ninja battle? Now there's a compelling opening. Bad writing tip number 4. Avoid adverbs. Highly misinterpreted advice. While adverbs that result from weak verbs or underdeveloped dialogue should be avoided, sometimes adverbs can be used artfully to fantastically add flavour and awesomely enhance a sentence. Yeah, don't get too heavy-handed with the flavour. We all have our limits. Bad writing tip number 5. Show, don't tell. Often misinterpreted to mean always show and never tell. This nugget of wisdom, this knowledge nugget, is good advice when you don't take it as an absolute. If something can be shown, show it. If it makes more sense to tell it, tell it. As long as you're constantly asking yourself, should I show or should I tell, you're doing your due diligence. Should I show or should I tell now? If I show there will be trouble. If I tell it will be double. When in doubt, turn to the clash. When it comes to show and tell, just like in a court of law, showing is stronger evidence than telling. For example, you could say, Brian's so flexible, he can bend over backwards and lick his own heels. Big claim, not sure I believe it, but if you show it, Brian bent over backwards and licked his own heels. Okay, I don't know what I'm seeing here or how or why he learned to do that, but this Brian's a flexible guy. So when it comes to writing, be like Brian, relentlessly flexible, but without the heel licking. You don't need that.